Welcome to the Landy Peak podcast. I'm your host and friend, Landy Peak, and I am thrilled to have you join me. In each episode, we will explore what makes life truly fulfilling: happiness, deep connections, and self-discovery. Together, we'll uncover that happiness is not a destination, but a way of living. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to the Landy Peak podcast. This is your friend and host, Landy Peak. And today I want to talk about micro steps because I think so often in our life, we are looking to the end point and we are forgetting about having some of the foundation that we need before we get there. And I do have to admit that doing the podcast, while I love it, I'm finding is getting harder and harder just because I don't want to be inside in the summer. I'd rather be out with the horses. And so during the school year, it came out every Monday, still getting it out every week, but I'm recording on Friday and releasing on Friday. It's there. So if you're also feeling that in your system, I would love to have you or invite you to honor that. It's okay if it doesn't go on the timeline that you think you should have, which weaves into what we're talking about today. So one of the biggest things that I have found in my own self through this summer so far, working with our Mustang Denny, with my kiddos, my husband has been traveling an incredible amount. And so I'm solo parenting, and I didn't anticipate having to do it all with little support throughout. Now, I say little support because that's what I was feeling. But what I realized after talking to a friend is I have support coming in. It's just not in how I thought it would be. So where I thought I would have my husband who could help with kids and my daughter and I could go out, or I could go out and work with the horse, we're really having everybody come out. And as my daughter has been in theater, my son and I have been the ones going out every morning to work with our horse. And then we're going back out in the evening to feed and have my daughter come out. It's a lot of time on the road. It's a lot of time with horses, which is my love. And the support that's coming in is from places that I didn't anticipate. My kids stepping up and being with me and going to see the horses every single day with really no complaint, which is incredible, right? That is a huge support. They are there, even though sometimes I push it a little long, or it's hot and they're hungry and we're eating dinner at 8:00 at night. Just a couple of months ago, the things that we are letting slide through our lives, like eating dinner at 8:00 at night, wasn't something that I was even comfortable with. I was very much into, we have the routines, we have dinner, we have an early bed. And this summer has forced me to let go of a lot of that. And it's also really forced me to look at my agendas, my anticipations, and my idea of what needs to get done and how it needs to be. And to get there, we have this big showcase at the end of August where the Mustangs come together and their trainers, and we show off what our Mustangs know. And at the beginning, when I was thinking at the beginning of June, oh my gosh, it feels like forever. We have 3 months with this horse. It's going to, the ideas that were flowing between Tegan and I of the things that we were going to do, the costumes that she was going to wear, were all grand. And now we're about halfway through and I'm starting to feel the panic. Not just the panic in, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get her to be where she needs to be. But there ties in the panic of, and what does that mean about me? And I have to find, when I start to feel that stress, how to allow myself to step back and look at the micro steps. Because if I go to push Denny over something, so I'll take the bridge. We're going to do the bridge. So when I first took Denny over the bridge, or intended to take her over the bridge, I was like, we're just going to go. And I may have mentioned this in a past episode, but we were just going to go, and I expected her to go. I didn't break down the micro steps to make it happen. Can we do this? My brain is now thinking in the micro steps. And she now anticipates the bridge so much that going into the area where the bridge is, she starts to get tense. Now, we worked to get over the bridge, and she walked over the bridge. We'd done it a couple of times, and then one time, she decided she was going to jump over the bridge. This was earlier this week, I think. Anyway, she jumped over the bridge, and now the bridge is evil again. So we're breaking down the steps. And can we just walk over something on the ground? Yes, she can walk over a mat on the ground. She was a little hesitant, and then she did it. But if I'm expecting her to walk over something where she has to step up, it kind of makes sense if we break it down that she needs to be able to walk over something and just know that it's going to support her. And then when we go to the bridge, we can have that internal trust within her and that internal trust that she has with me that this is going to be okay. We also brought in a friend. And so one of the other horses where we're boarding, Dougie, got to come and join us in our training session where Dougie went over the bridge and was fine. And then Denny was like, oh, okay, I'm good, and did the best walk over the bridge that she's ever done. Now, the really cool thing when we're breaking down and looking at the micro steps of what we have, because I have grandiose thoughts. I am already planning how I'm having a horse sanctuary where Mustangs can come and we can work with Mustangs. And if they are not Mustangs that can work with humans, we have enough acreage that they can just live and essentially be wild without being wild. And there's ways that I want to work with humans and horses, especially Mustangs. And I've got it all laid out in how I want this to look. And it's a big idea. And there's a lot of micro steps that are going to get me there, right? But I want it now. And that tends to be how I respond to things, is I want it now. I've got the big idea. I want to make it happen. I'm going to push and make it happen. As I push and make it happen, I have my blinders on, I narrow my focus, and I miss those synchronicities. I miss the micro movements. I miss some of the opportunities. So, with my business and the horse, I'm coming back to when I was so focused on just doing the bridge and not focused on the horse, I missed, does she know all the micro steps? Can I break this down for her and for me? And can I stay in tune with her system and my system to see where we're falling apart or where we're getting too stressed? And again, being okay, letting go of my agenda, and walking away. And so this has been one of my biggest learning lessons because I am somebody that can push through and do. But pushing through with training isn't getting me where I want to go with her. It's, oh my gosh, we got it. Yay, and we're done. And that feels awful in my body, but it's really good for her. And my son, who's out there with me, commented today. We actually loaded her in a trailer, which was a surprise and super awesome. And then I said, okay, let's take her to the round pen. And Denny was like, no. And I started walking towards the round pen, and she literally turned and started walking towards the gate back into her paddock. And I was like, okay. So we got in the car, and my son's like, Mom, that was awesome. I feel good. She felt good. And no one got stressed. It's like, ugh. Okay, I've been pushing again. And I have that end point of the showcase and needing, and I don't really need, wanting her to represent and be able to show off all the skills and be able to have her know the skills. And also, there's the comparison game of other trainers. All of that plays in. But what if instead we looked in our own lives and looked at what we were pushing for or pushing to, and instead said, okay, I'm going to take one micro success and then I'm going to say I'm done for the day. And it goes against everything that at least I have been taught and felt in my body. But it works because here's what happens. Because when I said, yay, success and done, and it doesn't feel done, but she had that micro success and we're done, she's excited to do it the next time. She's willing to do it the next time. She doesn't have any negative aspect to this like she does the bridge, where I was like, we're going to go over it. And we didn't go over it that day. And then it just built up. And so it's taking back, what kind of supports do we need? What are the micro steps do we need? And can we, especially for the strong feminine, actually receive the supports? Because sometimes my blinders go on so much that I actually miss the support coming in. And the little synchronicities, the little space and times, the pauses, that's where the magic starts happening. That's where we start really tuning in. And I found in my own system, when I'm really in tune with somebody during a session, when I'm really in tune with my kids or my partner, when I'm really in tune with my horse, I'm in that zone. I'm in the space where I'm watching, and it's a dynamic relationship where it is not me having an agenda, but me watching their system and trying a little and saying, would this work? Would this work? Nope. Yep. We've got it. And when I step back in anything I'm pushing in my life, and I had a friend who asked me, she's like, as I'm going into, let's ramp up the business and let's, and she's like, are you doing this out of fear or are you doing this out of love? And I was like, it's fear. How much of life do we do out of fear instead of love? And when I'm really in the zone with Denny, with clients, there is no fear. There is me and that other being, and it's relational and dynamic. And there isn't an end point. I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get her to do whatever, go over the bridge, or with a human, resolve this big whatever it is, stress, trauma. It's how can I open a little door to allow some movement? So coming back, as I'm teaching Denny to keep her front feet still and move her hind legs around in a circle, I didn't start with that first step. I actually started with the weight shift. Yes, she did the weight shift. Yes, we got a step. Yes, and yesterday she came around full circle. Was it pretty? No. Was I excited? Yes. Did we stop and walk away? Yes. And everything in me said, and let's do 10 more things. But 10 more things isn't going to get me what I want or need. It's going at the pace that my system and her system need. It's going at the relational space. It's letting go of my agenda and coming back into a space where I am making decisions from love, not fear. Because if I'm pushing her to walk over the bridge, it's because in the back of my head, there's fear. There is fear that we're not going to be ready for the showcase. There's fear that somebody's going to judge me because I let my horse win, quote unquote, instead of realize my horse wasn't ready and we didn't have the foundational steps to get there. So sometimes we push because ego's there, because the fear is there, because of a story that we're buying into. But really, when we have this space and give ourselves this space to step back for just a moment, look at the micro steps that need to be done before they can do the big thing. So all of the little foundational things, right? We don't expect our babies to just get up and walk. There's so much that goes into walking. First, we're looking, can they lift their head? Can we control arms and legs? Can we roll? Can we get up on our hands and knees, right? And this is kind of jumping a bunch of steps too. Can we pull up on furniture? Can we cruise on furniture? Can we balance just standing there? Can we balance and take a step? Can we balance and take 2 steps, right? So we don't expect a baby to come out walking. We expect that there's going to be all these milestones that go along. But with us, we expect that we're just going to be able to create something when often we've missed all the milestones that would make it easy. Yes, can we push through? Yes, can I make or force something to happen? But I lost the ease, the flow, and the fun. I lost the ability to sustain because if I jump ahead, I don't have the foundation that will keep it going in the long run. So while things often in my head feel slow with Denny, I am consistently coming back to I'm building the foundation. And as I've heard from many people recently, I need to go slow to go fast. And so that slow period is the hardest one for me. So I invite you in your own life to look at where you feel stuck, where you have resistance, where you feel like you're pushing, and get curious and ask yourself, are you pushing, stuck, making those decisions out of fear or out of love? And if it's fear, what's behind that fear? And then, whether it's fear or love, I'm going to ask that next question of, do I have all of the milestones to be able to create what I want to create, to be able to do what I want to do? I mean, so often, right, we look at running a marathon and we think, oh, we've got to train for it. But when it's our life stuff, we're just going to jump in and expect ourselves to have it. So just look, get curious. I invite you. Are there areas of your life that feel a little stuck, sticky, pushy, just not going the way that you need? Pause and just get curious. What do you need to take the next best step? Not to the end. It's coming back to what Amy Budd said, and I need to hold the vision of where I'm going and be in the present. And it's a lesson that I am continually learning this week as well. I want to wish you all the happiness that today can bring. I'm so grateful that you are here, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Hey, before you go, just a little bit of legal. This podcast is designed for educational purposes only. It is not to replace any expert advice from your doctors, therapists, coaches, or any other professional that you would work with. It's just a chat with a friend, me, where we get curious about ideas, thoughts, and things that are going on in our lives. And as we're talking about friends, if you know someone who would benefit from the conversation today, please share. Because I think the more that we open up these conversations, the more benefit we all get. So until next time, give yourself a big hug from me and stay curious, because that's the fun in this world.